Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Carlos. So Satish is asking, can you teach us how to draw lips, front, 3/4, and side? Quick answer, yes. And welcome back. My name is Carlos, and if you're new around here and you're interested in animated movies and actually learning how to make animations and animated films, please consider subscribing. I am here in the beautiful Lake Tahoe, California, and just across that street there is the beautiful Lake Tahoe. The water is so blue, so crystal clear. It looks a little like this. Today I'm actually taking a break to address Satish's question. And that question is how to draw lips in looking forward, looking to the side, and 3/4 view. Now the cool thing about drawing lips is it's easy if you remember 3 letters. M, U, V. Move your lips. M-U-V. If I were to make an M, a U, and a V, just stack them on top of each other, you see how the lips are already coming together. Now if I were to just take a little bit more time, make an M, a U, and actually we can probably even draw a V in here, and then drop in the U. You see how that's coming together very easily? And that's how you draw lips front facing. The rule of thumb is the corners of your mouth line up with the middles of your eyes. So if you're looking straight ahead, your pupils would probably be here. And that's your guide for your 3 letters. So if we wanted to drop in our M right there, the V, why a V is because there's this little peak right here. So you can drop that in. If you didn't want to do it that way, you can have an M and then just go straight across and then drop in a U. And again, this U could be depending on your person. Some people don't have really big lips. They have very thin lips, and you can go with a straight line there and then a very shallow U. So it all depends on who you're trying to draw and what effect you're trying to go for. And here I'm going to go ahead and finish up and drop in our U. There you go. And if we wanted to, we can just keep on. Drop that in there, and then we can put in the little soul patchy thing. Now let's take a look at the smile and how the muscles of your face affect the shape of your lips. Normally our lips, when our face is relaxed, our lips are the shape that they are. But when you smile, it stretches everything out. The M and the U stretch out, and the V actually turns into a straight line. Put the corners of the mouth in. I'm just gonna draw a straight line. And then I'm going to shallow out that M and shallow out that U. See? Nice and simple. And then if we wanted to go a little more smiley, a little more cartoonish, what we do is we put the corners of the mouth up there, and then that V turns a little bit more like a U. And then we can even drop in our original U. And then the M is just really, really shallow. And then depending on your style, you can close this U, or we can even just hint at the bottom lip, and then we put in the little hairs and stuff, and we make sure that if our character has a mustache, we show the mustache properly. And again, if we wanted to, say, maybe do an open mouth, like someone is surprised, like, oh, what we do is our corners of the mouth would be here. Our V could very easily just be turned upside down. And then our lips, depending on how big the person's lips are, there's our M. And then we do a U down here, and then again, if we wanted to complete the U, and now the opening of the mouth has two letters or two shapes. So two U's at the bottom, an upside down U at top, and that's our M. And then if we wanted to add some teeth, we can do that. If we wanted to add some bottom teeth, we can just drop those in there, and even the tongue and the uvula. Now let's take a look at the 3/4 view. When you're drawing in perspective, let's say we have a box. If we're looking at the box straight ahead, it looks like a square or a rectangle. But if we were to take this box and shift it, now we have some perspective that begins to happen. And the same thing happens with our mouth. When we're drawing our M, if it's face on, generally speaking, the M and the U are pretty uniform, and the V too, for that matter. If we were going to add perspective to this shape, the M then stretches out on the closer side of the camera. So this part of the lips gets stretched out, and this part gets brought in a little bit. So that's our M, and then we can add our V. But look at how I'm making the V look more like a bird. And then we throw in our U, and there's our 3/4 mouth. So now let's take a look at what a smile would look like. And again, if we wanted to start with our V, we do like that. And then that side of the M gets brought in. And then this side of the M gets stretched out. And again, our U also gets stretched out. And I guess I should have put that on a character. There we go. There's Peter McKinnon. What I'm going to do is use 2 fingers to tap on that layer. And if I drag my finger to the left, it brings the opacity of that layer down. So now we can just add a new layer. We're going to make our V and stretch it out. Come in with our M and keep that nice and shallow. And if you notice, I have a line right here that kind of helps me, it helps guide me and keep everything centered. So now that looks a little crazy, so what I'm going to do is, there we go. This is gonna come down, and then if I finish up that lip, let's clean this up a little bit so we don't get confused. Okay, there we go. And again, you have to remember that this is a 3D object. So it's almost like if you imagine a water balloon, our faces are a lot like a water balloon. So we have the knot up here, and the balloon full of water drags down like this. And then usually there's a knot right there. If we did like this, that's just to show us the curvature of the balloon. And then again, if we add some of these cross lines, we see that the water balloon looks like a lot like a head or a face. If we come over here to Peter, we can actually draw the knot up here. You see, there's our water balloon. So with this curve here, that's the line that we want to follow when we're drawing lips. So if I erase that, bring this down, we can rough this in. And again, we can 2-finger tap on that layer, drag to the left to bring it down. Hide that for now. And now I have my proper lips in proper perspective, thanks to a water balloon. See there? Let's draw some normal lips. What would he look like if he was not smiling? So again, let's take a look at the middle of the eyeballs. That's coming down here, that's coming down here. These are our starting points. These are the corners of the mouth. And then there we go. Now let's take a look at what it would look like if we opened our mouth. Let's say he's saying, ah, and you see how everything gets stretched down and pulled down, ah, right? What we're gonna do is put the top of the lip, which is like a smoothed out V, bring this down. And if we wanted to add the teeth, this is a good time for that. And depending on what style you want to use, if you stretch the top lip enough, it just kind of looks like it disappears a little bit. You can always add just a very shallow M there. And then we bring this down. This is the top part of the U, right? And then we're going to add the bottom part of the U. And we can even come in here and add other features if we wanted to. And with that, what we need to remember is when you open your mouth wide, it affects almost your entire face. So instead of this eyebrow cheek area being prominent like that, what we could do is just take that face and shallow that out too. And that helps sell the fact that his mouth is wide open. And then I'm going to bring that down and around. There we go. And then if we have facial features, you just remember to stretch out the beard. Now what's interesting is when you're dealing with your face, you have to remember that your skull is basically two pieces. You have your upper skull and your lower skull, and everything hinges from right here. The muscles will affect your cheeks and the skin and everything, but for the most part, the top of the skull pretty much stays the same and the bottom of the skull stays the same. So your top lip and your nose don't generally spread out much. And the bottom of the lip or the teeth and the bottom of your jaw also don't stretch out all that much. So now let's take a look at how those 3 letters can help us make lips in a profile view. And it's interesting because remember when we were talking about the water balloon and we turned it like this, half of the picture that is our face, so lovely, half of it is gone. Okay, so here's a picture that I have for our profile. First thing I want to do is 2-finger tap on that layer and drag to the left so we can bring down the opacity, come up to this top layer here. So this is going to come down and then even shoot out just a little bit. If you look on my face, it comes down and then it comes out just a little bit for this puffy part of it. Did you know that the top of the M part of your lips is called Cupid's row? How cool is that? So what we're going to do is we're going to make our V like that. And remember, halfway through the eyeball. And then our M comes down and then back up and then down again. In our U, what we're going to do is come over here and drop in a U. And there's our mouth. And then we just finish this up like this. And if we look, again, M, V, U. Now let's say that she's smiling. She's having a wonderful time learning how to draw lips with 3 letters. Again, we're going to bring this down. Let's give her some nice lips, and then let's stretch out the V part. Every time you stretch your face, you have to come in with a nice shallow shape. So here we're going to do like this. What we're going to do is give this bottom lip a nice, there we go. And then again, we finish off the chin. This comes down a little bit, and then we give the top of the chin, and there we go. And now she's smiling. Now let's open the mouth again. Now again, our mouth hinges to our skull, or the bottom jaw hinges to the top part of the skull, right about here. So if we open our mouth, you see how this part of the jaw comes down? So what we're gonna do is bring this down, and we're gonna get a little exaggerated just to bring it home the point. Give us a V. And again, the lips, nice and shallow because we're stretching it out. Throw some teeth in there. This is probably needs to be adjusted later when we're done. Or maybe my mouth is just too big. Okay, throw in some teeth. And if you look, when you open your mouth, you can see the inside of your cheek. So don't be afraid to add that in there. And then again, our U. And then we finish up with the jaw, which would be something like this. And just to, oops, let's do that. And then we can hide some of this. And then if I wanted to, I can come in here and 2-finger tap, drag, and create a new layer, turn that black, come and get my inking brush. Dry ink would be cool. And then I can come in here and really finalize my decisions. Now we can hide this layer and there you go. Drawing lips in 3 letters or less. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And if you know anyone that wants to get into drawing, animating, making animated films, please send this video on over to them and tell them all about this channel. I'm making an animated music video and I'm bringing you guys along for the ride. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. I hope this video finds you safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in the very next video. See you soon.